I mean, yes, it's deathcore. Like, yes, we have that at the base. But like, other than that, like, you cannot super subgenre us. You really can't. Just like everybody's got something so cool going on that they bring to the band. And I'm like so confident that it sets us aside from other people. And I mean, I can just kind of hope that it'll take us far. Like, that's really all I could want, is for this band to go far. You know, I want to play on some shit like Warped Tour. I want to, you know, go on tour with like these cool big bands.
Welcome to the Brutality podcast. My name is Dom, and I just have a few things to shout out before diving into today's episode. First, I wanted to mention that we have a Discord server. If you want to stay up to date with everything podcast related, that is the place to be. But also, if you want to be a part of a community of like-minded people who are looking to just talk about and discover deathcore, whether that be old or new, all that happens over in the Discord server. Also, if you want to help support the show, we now have a Patreon. Some of the perks include early access to episodes, your name in the credits, being the first to know about our upcoming guests, member-only channels in our Discord, and so much more. All of that on Patreon. Also, we have some merch. We have 2 t-shirt designs that we are very excited about. You can go and find those over at indiemerchstore.com. And last but not least, we do these podcast recordings live on Twitch every single Wednesday at 6 p.m. EST. So if you want to be a part of the conversation, if you want to see the unfiltered, unedited versions of these episodes, that is where we do it. So links to all of that down in the description wherever you are watching or listening. That's all I have to plug. Thank you for listening and enjoy this episode.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Yeah. My favorite
absolutely
ever.
The best intro that we've ever done in the
for
history of Brutality
Podcast. That's the intro.
Yep.
That's the whole thing.
The place where nothing works. Yeah, we got it. We got it going.
Hey,
here.
Sofia, thank you so much for powering through the ways of the internet and being so patient with us and to do this episode with us. But hey, Sofia, how were we feeling, tech issues aside?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm really happy to be here. I'm very excited to chat with everybody. I'm very excited. I'm seeing some friends in the little chat section, the chat room. So I'm just happy. I'm excited.
Hell yeah. I've been excited to do this with you. I was kind of trying to gas you guys up a little bit before we were starting this. I genuinely think Torn Open is doing something special. You guys are doing the revival stuff, but in a different way than where most people are going with it. So very excited to kind of dig into all that. But also you are a woman of many facets. You've got the drumming, you've got the tattoos, you've got the screaming. You have a very unique scream. So we gotta get into all of it.
Lots to cover.
Doing everything, you know, voice effects when she joined.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, apparently I was like a robotic chipmunk when I joined.
It's incredible. Like, really incredible. First time I'm hearing that.
A new vocation for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was Dan's first impression of me too. Like, he didn't even hear my voice.
Great.
He just heard like robot chipmunk.
It's so great.
For a minute was maybe kind of like, dude, is that just her voice? Can I say something?
For 1 second, I was like, whoa, like that's, maybe she's doing it on purpose,
Stephen Hawking type scenario going on.
Could be. I would have wondered how she makes those vocals and, in the music, but, so there we go. No, it's gonna be cool. I share the same opinion, by the way. I think it's really awesome, the whole aesthetic. I think my first reaction was to see the cover and being like, oh wow. So I'm excited to talk about this as well.
Yay, awesome.
Well, yeah. Well, let's kind of dive into it somewhat chronologically. I'd love to kind of get to know you a little bit more, get to know how you were, I guess, introduced to music, metal, drums and vocals? Like what was your upbringing like in terms of music? Do your parents enjoy music a lot or heavier music? Where's it all come in?
Yes. So I am really lucky. I am a child of two musicians. My dad still does music full time. He plays, he teaches, he's been a guitarist for like upward of 40 something years. He's incredible. And my mom was always interested in like singing and Broadway and, acting. She doesn't do it anymore. She's in the medical field right now, but even still, she's always like shared a love for it. So, I was kind of like, I was raised the opposite of like, you're not joining the marching band, you're doing sports. My dad was like, what do you mean she's playing lacrosse? Put her in concert band. Like that, like I experienced the exact opposite. So I definitely had like a warm welcome into music. I started playing drums. That was my first instrument. I started when I was 7 years old because of Rush. I loved Rush. My dad's super huge into prog. So like Rush, Yes, Genesis, like anything of that nature. So obviously that's what he was always playing. And I was just really fascinated by like the drums in it. And like, I'm still fascinated by Neil. Rest in peace, the professor. But yeah, it really fascinated me. So I started drumming at like a very early age. I mean, I didn't really take it like super duper seriously until like halfway through high school, but that's kind of what got me going into music. And into metal, I would definitely say I took like one school of rock program. Two. Sorry, I lied. I took two school of rock programs. Like one of the ones where it was like you play with other people.
Is that because I had like or is that like some summer stuff or?
No. It was like the chain, like school, like you know, like the chains. Yeah. So, well, actually, what happened was, my dad's a teacher at a guitar music school, and they ran a summer program. So when I was like 11, 12, like I joined, and basically what they did is like they put you in a group with like people your age, and you would play music together, write songs, learn songs, whatever. And I did that like for, I want to say like 3 or so years. I actually met some of my best friends who I'm still best friends with and who are still involved with the Jersey music scene there, which is so cool. But anyway, so yeah, I did that, and I remember I would like really miss it. So I was like, all right, let me, try School of Rock. I did one that was like progressive rock, like Rush adjacent. And then the one after that, I was like, I'm going to try modern metal. Like I really hadn't gotten really huge into metal. I really liked, like AFI, Green Day, Soundgarden, like that was the extent of it. And the first song they gave me was 512 by Lamb of God. That changed everything for me. Lamb of God is my favorite band of all time, ever, ever, ever. I love them so much. Like that's what, metal's my entire life. Like, and that's what took it off for me. So that's definitely where I got started, like getting interested in that kind of music. I've always really liked metalcore and deathcore. But I was actually really excited to see like the revival and like, the acceptance of it again. Like I was like, oh shoot, I'm not going to be bullied for being a fucking dork. Like this is so cool. People think this is cool now. So, oh, you know what? Yeah. In the comments, the 4th of July, that's actually my favorite Soundgarden song. That and Pretty News. So good. But anyway, so, yeah, I was just like really excited about that. And I want to say around summer of 2023, give or take. I forget exactly what it was, but like I had taken an interest in vocals. I was like, this is so cool. Like I want to yell, like I want to emote on stage, like this is neat. And I kind of tried like teaching myself Fry Scream for like a few months. I had some help from my friend Kaz in Abusement Park. He's a fantastic vocalist, but I kind of got the hang of it. And then like one day I just like couldn't get it. And I was like, oh, you know what? Like maybe this isn't for me, whatever. And then I had picked it back up in around like November, December of 2023. I had seen my friend Elliot be the vocalist for Shrapnel Wounds. I've seen them plenty of times, but that day it especially stuck with me. And I was actually hanging out with Frankie from Slamwich. We went to go see, and Frankie got on stage, and like it was just like, so I don't know, like that was what did it for me. I was like, I want to do this too. Like this is so awesome. Like I appreciate vocals, and that very day I decided I'm gonna start a band, so I have no choice but to get really good right fucking now. And that's exactly what I did. I think the next day I texted one of our local promoters, and I was like, do you know anybody that wants to be in a deathcore band? I'm a vocalist now. And he was like, yeah, actually, like, like his business partner's girlfriend was, really interested in being in a metal band. So I was like, cool. So that's how we acquired Margot. And we had like a much different lineup at the time than like our lineup now. We went through a few changes. We had a tumultuous adventure, I'd say. We always reference this one little photo. It has like kind of like a Trojan cap on it, and it says God gives his toughest battles to, and we just like wrote over whatever it says, like torn open deathcore. So yeah, I think that's like the full express rundown of what brought me like where I am right now.
Okay, so we have a lot. I want to dig
into in that.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. No, that's
great.
What we're here for, right? But I'd love to kind of like tap into some specific things that you mentioned and maybe linger on a few things. You talk about like, you know, Rush being like the entry kind of band for music and stuff. That's a pretty intense band musically to kind of get into. Off rip, right? Were you straight away trying to do that sort of music, or were you like
and on drums too?
Yeah, people start with Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, you know, usually this.
I remember like I want to say 6 months into my lessons, I was so lucky. I studied with Neil Peart's like best friend. He was in charge of writing his biography too, Joe Bergamini. I don't know if that rings a bell for anybody. He's wonderful. But I remember about like 6 months into like, you know, trying drum lessons. I'm like freshly like 8 years old. I look down and I see the double pedals and I said, when are we going to use those? And my teacher was like, I don't know, dude. Like, you're 7, you suck. Or sorry, 8. Like, he didn't say it like that, but like, that's obviously what he was probably getting at. But yeah, so I didn't really try for that stuff straight away. I was very like by the books, you know, learned a lot of rudiments. And then, you know, once I was like introduced to metal, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna use this double bass drum. I'm gonna use the crap out of it. And now I've advanced to Thomas Speed Cobra 910s, the longboards. They're beautiful. But anyway, yeah, I think like I didn't really try to do that stuff straight away.
I guess that, sorry to cut you off, like I guess that kind of like, because you kind of mentioned you didn't really take it super seriously necessarily until like mid-high school either. Like I'm sure like all that kind of work that you put in ahead of time, like in the early years, probably completely opened you up to, you know, once you did want to take it seriously, well, you were already at that level to be able to do it, right?
Yeah, for sure. I was like definitely like 9 years old. Like, what do you mean I have to practice 15 minutes a day? Like, fuck. But like I did like concert band and jazz band. Like I did jazz band, I'm pretty sure, like where you use the whole drum kit for 7 years. So all through like middle school and high school, I did concert band ever since like they allowed it, you know, and I did drums for all that. So like obviously, you know, I did like a lot of learning that way, and they'd usually like advance me and push me up, which was really cool. So that was kind of like where I learned a lot of like, again, rudimentary things when it comes to like literally like rudiments. I don't know. You know, basics, staying in time, working with other people. Like that definitely helped a lot when I decided like, oh, I'm going to play with band. And also that summer program that I mentioned too, like I got to like write and play songs that I really liked with other people. I remember I was like 15 years old. I was like, guys, we're going to fucking play Rosetta Stone. I'm Danny Carey now. And they were like, and I was like, sorry. We got like 2 minutes in and then we were like, yeah, never mind.
Yeah, you had to come back down to the level of everyone else.
I could play Ticks and Leeches though. That's my one flex. Yeah, hopefully I could still play it. I don't even know.
So you guys, you mentioned your dad plays drums as well, or
no? My dad's a guitarist.
Okay. So then,
I mean, he's like very much like he could play really whatever, but like primarily he's very much so a guitarist.
Yeah. So did you have a drum kit at home? Were you practicing at home?
Yeah. I got my first ever drum kit. It was like a 4-piece pearl shell pack. It was like sparkly and blue. And there's actually a video of me somewhere. Obviously, like I think I got it for like Christmas or something. And again, I'm like 7. Santa's alive and well. And and my mom like sees me like going down the stairs, and my mom's like filming. She's like, "What is it?" And I like see the drum set, and I'm like screaming at the top of my lungs. Mind you, it's like 6:30 in the morning. So yeah, I had that, and then also I upgraded because I had the choice of a Sweet 16 or a new shell pack, and I was like, new shell pack, duh. So I have a Gretsch 7-piece maple, and it's again like sparkly. It's like gray color now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's sitting peacefully in the garage.
Did when you were kind of like introduced to stuff like Lamb of God, is that kind of like what made it click for you, like to go heavy into drums as well in general, or was that just like you had finally gotten into like being more serious about drums, and then further down in the journey you were like, oh, okay, this metal thing is pretty fucking cool?
Yeah, I think I honestly like I started liking and honing in on being like a metalhead before like super like getting really good at drums. But again, like once I joined now Diabla, I was pretty all right. Like I could get by. I've worked with people before. And then as we progressed, we got heavier and heavier and heavier. And now I'm like, oh crap, like hammer blast at 210 BPM tomorrow. Like, I just kind of like had to up my chops after a while. But, the better you get, like, obviously it's fun. It's definitely a big like stamina thing to be playing things like this difficult. I mean, like I'm really not a big muscular person at all. I'm 4'10". Like I'm a little guy, so it's definitely kind of challenging at times. But otherwise, it's fun. It really is.
Brutality Podcast is sponsoring the Self-Care Others Harm tour, which is a Thus Spoke Zarathustra album release, full USA tour featuring a crazy amount of amazing bands in the revival scene as regional supports. Bands on the run include Surfaced, Slamwich, Lilith's Demise, In Which Divides Us, Mauled, Brain Injury Unit, and Delilah. So incredibly stacked lineup. If you want to check out the full dates as well as venue information and what bands play where, head on over to brutalitypodcast.com/TSZ tour or hit the link in the description. And now just a quick second to talk about the sponsor of today's episode, Indie Merch Store. Pre-order the new Signs of the Swarm album to rid myself of truth today. Pre-order limited edition colored vinyl alongside CDs and merch over at www.indiemerchstore.com. The first single, Hell Must Fear Me, is streaming everywhere right now, so be sure to check it out. Also, Cattle Decapitation has a killer new spring merch drop. Pick up windbreakers, cross body bags, tees, and patches from the band over at indiemerchstore.com. Remember, you can always use the code BRUTALITY at checkout to save yourselves 10% off your entire order. Helps support the show as well as save you guys a little bit of money in the process. So a huge thank you to Indie Merch Store for sponsoring this episode. And now back to the show. So vocals then. So you go to a show, you see Frankie. I mean, shout out Slamwich, first of all.
They're so fucking good. I love Slamwich so much. With every ounce of my being, I love Slamwich.
So then seeing Frankie do her thing live was kind of like, whoa, like that kind of opened up like the possibility,
I think that, and
guess,
also,
to be like, oh, I want to do that. Like that looks fucking cool.
Honestly, I mean, I was really interested in it prior. And like I also saw my friend Elliot. They were in a project called Shrapnel Wounds. It's not a project anymore. I suggest everybody check it out. Again, like Elliot's a super harsh vocalist, and I had really always like admired them on stage anyway. And then, like I was like really like amped up, like, I thought like this is so cool. Like I want to be a vocalist like Elliot. And then I saw Frankie get up there. I was like, oh, now my friend's up there too. Like this is dope. Like this is dope. Like, yeah, okay, I got to do this now. Like I think it was like a long time in the making anyway. But then I was like, that was like the okay, fine. Like I'm gonna have the courage to do it now moment.
That's cool. Was there kind of like a one or the other moment for you ever? Like, oh, like maybe I'm just gonna do vocals and maybe screw the drums. I know you've always had the other band playing drums, right? So I assume not. But has that ever kind of crossed your mind? Is there like one you prefer more than the other? Like.
I don't know. Honestly, I think they both have like their strengths and weaknesses. I mean, right now I'm kind of like, I don't know, like genuinely, if I'm being completely honest, because I go to college full time and I'm a music major at school. And I'm there, I'm studying drums, and it just like kind of starts to feel like a chore after a while. And I'm like, damn, like I hate that this is kind of ruining it for me. But like, I got in on a scholarship. I'm going for free. Like, I'm just going to fucking get the degree, duh. But, yeah. So I think like, honestly, it's a little bit discouraging because of how overwhelmed I am, but also at the same time, like I kind of just like I haven't played live with Diablo in a very long time. We took like a solid break. We had like a lineup change. I'm still kind of like adjusting, everything's still really new. And, I'm kind of just like trying to get back in the headspace of like practice and be good again. So I think that was definitely affecting me a little bit. But otherwise, I still, at the end of the day, I love playing drums. I love making music. I love being a vocalist. I love observing my band play music and kind of giving like stupid input and then putting my vocals over it, like it's cool. It really is fun. So I guess, yeah, I wouldn't even say like preference. I'd just say like, as life changes, like the way I approach things is going to change.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like there's a lot of connection between, because now as a vocalist, when you write stuff, I'm guessing there's this huge perspective of you, like drum wise, you know what I mean? Like I'm guessing there's probably a lot of connection that people outside might not know, but there's a lot of vocalists who, all they hear in their ears while they're live is the drums, basically. There's a lot of connection between both. Do you feel like your perspective as a vocalist is affected by the way that you're also a drummer?
I don't know. Wait, hold on one second. Can I let my cat in? He's like screaming at me at the door.
Sure.
Give me
He's
1
invited.
second. I'm so sorry, guys.
All animals are invited.
Come on in. Come on, baby.
In our stream. That's how it works.
Come on, honey. Where are you going?
Oh, that's the classic too. The cat's knocking on the door, but then doesn't want to come in afterwards. Yeah,
that's how it works. Because now you want, so then they don't want anymore. Yeah.
Welcoming my baby Ozzy Prince of Darkness.
Oh,
he's gonna kind of hang out. He'll be around. He'll probably come hang out in a little bit. But yes, okay. So in terms of like connection and perspective, being a vocalist is one hell of a lot easier. I'm just gonna say that 1,000,000,000,000%. It's so fucking easy compared to drumming. It's like so.
I believe you.
Like, and I feel like an asshole for saying that, but like, it's just like, damn, like I have so much less shit I have to do and like worry about. And like, I just have to like drink water and scream in the car before a show. I don't have to like, obviously like I help my band, but like, I'm like, oh, I'm not worried about like carrying everything and like driving the whole band. And like, what if I was a chronic vomiter while I would drum? I used like, there's multiple videos of me like vomiting while playing. I'm like, I'm not gonna like get tired and like throw up. So like, I definitely like, if anything, I honestly feel like there's a disconnect. Like it's two entirely different worlds. I mean, that might just be for me personally too, because for me, drumming feels like an acquired skill that I kind of enjoy presenting, and like, this is cool. I can do this. I like doing this. While on the other hand, being a vocalist feels like a cathartic like release of energy. And I think, like they're two kind of completely different fields for me. For that reason. But at the same time, again, like, both are fun. They just have like their different places. Like, especially because as you can see, I'm a huge talker. So it feels like really important to me to be able to like kind of control the crowd a little bit and like, like be like this big crazy person, like, that they can like, they're like, whoa, like this is cool. Like, this girl's like fucking running around, like slipping, like jumping, like getting in my face, I've always enjoyed writing too. So being a lyricist and like, even if people can't hear what I'm saying, it's still feels very like cathartic and like very nice to me to like be able to like speak my truth. Plus it's kind of fun like saying whatever the fuck. Like I don't know, we played a show the other day and I walked up to the mic and I was like, yo guys, I fucking hate Ronnie Radke. And then they all laughed and I was like, did you know horses die? Like if they throw up, they can't throw up. And everybody was like, Like, what are you on about?
It works though.
But it works.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm hearing is, like, since you did drums not that you're not serious as a vocalist, but I'm saying, like, you did it more in the professional, kind of almost a work environment type of way, meaning like with school and everything, like drumming was always like kind of more of a notion and like I need to be good and skills and stuff like that, as opposed to maybe a vocalist where you're more, feels like you're just more yourself and free in it, is what I'm hearing. Would that be like a fair statement?
Yeah, honestly, I think that is a fair statement. It feels like, I don't know. It's kind of like, I don't want to say more true to myself because I've been like a drummer for so long. It's like so integral to like my identity. But like, I don't know. I just like really enjoy being kind of weird and like funny and charismatic. So in that sense, yes, like I think that could be more true to myself.
We ever gonna see drummer with the headset doing both?
No, I hate the idea of that. I really like, I admire people who can do it. Like I've done it before, but like it's one or the other. I'm either focusing, like putting all my energy into like playing like a motherfucker, or I'm putting all my energy into like being interesting and jumping around and like giving my all, you know? So like I if you could do both, like that's super awesome. But personally, from a performance standpoint and like how people are going to react kind of to your performance, I think it's going to be separate.
kind of the worst of both worlds, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, honestly, oh, Ozzy, are you coming over? Yes, and you can see his little head back there. Sorry if he walks over at any point. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it's super cool.
Yeah,
but
and in terms of, you know, you mentioned some influences. We talked about like, you know, Lamb of God and like then seeing Frankie and stuff. But in terms of like being in front of the band, like fronting the band and being a vocalist, did you have any, is that just like a natural thing, the way you move it, like the way you want to do it and stuff? Or do you have some influences in terms of like a performer as a vocalist?
I honestly, I think I kind of just do it. But at the same time, like the video where I was like, this is like the energy I need to bring is Randy Bly covering You Only Live Once at Mitch Lucker's memorial show. I was like, this is so fucking nuts. Like it just feels like so amazing and emotional to like watch, because I'm like, this is the dream. Like, this is so fucking cool. And like, I can do this, you know? So I think that's definitely like, I don't even want to say like influence, more just like kind of encouragement. But yeah, otherwise I think honestly, like I don't really find myself like copying other people's like moves on stage. Every once in a while I'll pull like cause like obviously it's funny and people know what I'm doing. But other than that, like I don't think I'm like looking like, okay, like how to act on stage, where to jump around. Like it just kind of happens.
Of a natural, like,
yeah, I mean, I don't know, my band can probably attest to that more than I could. Like I'm in my own body and they're the ones observing me. I don't know, they're probably in the chat. I very regularly run into Kanan though, our bassist. Like I very regularly like step on his foot, knock into his head, like without fail. There's multiple videos of it too. It's really funny.
Very authentic. I'm hearing like there's a lot of authenticity in the performance, which is great.
Yeah, for sure. The other day, like, you know, we were playing a show in Connecticut and it started like pouring outside, like downpouring, thunder, lightning. So obviously everybody's fucking tracking rain inside, and it's a small ass venue. It's called the Crunch House. And, you know, I'm doing my thing, you know, like we're playing, it was at the point where we were covering Fairy Faye. At this point, like Kanan's hat already fell off. Like I put it back on his head. I'm pretty sure I stepped on one of Margot's wires and like the floor is so wet. I'm stomping. And then I just like fall, but I'm like mid-lyric. So I just drop to my knees during the fall and you see me like bend completely backwards and I'm just like laying out, like sprawled on the floor, like continuing like open throat, profuse bleeding, like... And then I get up and I'm like, at least that was probably really interesting to watch.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure tons of people thought it was part of it. Like that.
Well,
it was
that's the thing. I usually, Yeah, I usually do like go to my knees and like kind of like crawl on the floor and like, you know, during a point in our set at least once or twice. Like I will do something like that, but I think it was funny that I was like the water low key forced me. Like it was like, all right, now it's time. This is your shot,
It
you know.
worked.
That's funny.
So yeah, as far I think it happens naturally, literally from the earth itself. From the rain
Just
itself.
being yourself, basically. You feel the music.
Yeah,
that's cool.
for sure.
You just you alluded to doing Fairy Faye live from Whitechapel, early Whitechapel. You guys have done a few different covers over the years too. I've been seeing online. So what's how is that for you guys? Is that just like you know, something like a challenge for you guys, or something like what's the idea behind doing the covers live? Choosing songs,
I think it's just
you know, like
yeah, I think honestly, like OG deathcore sees OG deathcore. So like obviously like yes, they're gonna sit here and they're gonna like us, but they're also gonna be really excited when they hear a song that's like, oh, like fuck, like this is awesome. I haven't heard a band cover this, you know? So I think that's kind of why we stuck with like, you know, our first cover was Kruka Banger, and then you know, what do we do? I don't know. I don't even fucking know. I like lose track at this point. We did a few Suicide Silence covers. I think we did Unanswered at one point. You know, we've moved on to Whitechapel. Like, I don't know, like we've done a lot. I think we're moving on to Thy Art is Murder is next. And then I think we're moving on to Chelsea Grin's second album, Desolation of Eden. Like, you know, we just always make sure like we've got some like core, like this is what shaped deathcore song in there.
I do have to say, I do. Yes, I really,
yeah.
There's really something I got to say. If you mentioned Die Artist Murder, please, it has to be from the EP Infinite Dead. If you do anything from that, like I'm asking, because like that's I cannot shut up about it. It's like it's a great, you know. I commend you for doing Kruka Banger, which is from one of my favorite EP ever made, but you mentioned Die Art and I'm like, please, and you're gonna be glad that you're not on drum for that. So
yeah, no, our drummer Mike, he's like fucking ridiculous. Like I don't understand. He's cracked. He's like genuinely so cracked. Like nothing is a challenge for that kid. Like I think I could throw like I don't even know, like Angel Maker, like Archspire in front of him, and he'd be like, cool, give me a week, and he'd fucking play it. Like honestly, I feel bad for him, but at the same time, I don't, because I know he can do it and he'll have fun with it too. So like, it's kind of awesome. So we could honestly, I think that's such a gift too, that like, you know, I really have like such an immensely talented band. Like Mike is such a well-versed, super technical player. Margot is like, you know, she's got a lot of music theory knowledge. So she's great with writing melodies and shit like that. Mars is super technically inclined. Like this new song we wrote, like it's just like the whole intro, you know, obviously like there's sweeps in deathcore, but like it's nuts. Like, you know, the kid can really play. And Kanan's like ridiculous too, because he has like a very strong jazz background. And you know, when you hear like, oh yeah, like they were a jazz instrument at like Berkeley or something like that. I mean, Kanan didn't go to Berkeley, we go to the same college, but like still, like when they say they're like an experienced jazz musician, you're like, oh yeah, like they're about to blow everybody out of the water, and it's like doesn't even matter what genre. So, you know, and obviously like Kanan does really like deathcore too, but like that's where like his background was mostly focused. So yeah, I think honestly, like I don't think there's very many songs that would be out of reach for us. Oh, we also covered Anathema of Sick. Forgot to mention that. Sorry. But yes. But yeah, we all really, really like Chelsea Grin. I'm getting my Chelsea Grin tattoo actually in like a month. Oh, I need to show you guys. I have a Suicide Silence tattoo. Wait, I don't know if you could like see it. I have, the cleansing right here.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then I've got Lamb of God right here. And then on the back of my arm, I'm a huge Pantera fan, so Dimebag Darrell right here. And then the EP cover, Chelsea Grin's EP, is gone right there on my arm in like a month.
Okay,
yeah.
Two things. First of all, your brain seems to be working exactly like mine. I feel like I'm hearing the same kind of just like going, and I'm loving it. The second thing is we're talking about it. Hold on just one second.
Oh, do you have a cool tattoo? Oh. That's fucking nuts. That's absolutely so nuts. You know, I saw like you guys had Alex
more than one
Kohler.
place in his apartment. Just so we're clear. He's got multiple.
That's so neat. Like, I saw that you guys had Alex Kohler on here, and I was like, guys, this can't be fucking real. Like, he's definitely my biggest deathcore vocalist influence. I was like, there's like actually no fucking way. Like, I'm going on the same podcast like a fucking month later. Like, this is so insane.
He's such a great dude awesome, too. You know, like he's a good person. Like I don't think he was aware of how many people he influenced. You know what I mean? Like, because like he's part, like the conversation is often like, oh, I love Mitch, and Alex Kohler is up there for a lot of people, including myself. And when he came on the podcast, it was great. Just, you know, I would say kind of give back, just, you know, do like you're important in the scene type thing. So it was a good moment. And Listen, it's cool to hear that he's it's mind blowing for us to see that, you know, younger people are loving like the MySpace era and all those icons that we had. And I would be curious actually, because you mentioned the covers, Chelsea and stuff like that. You were talking about Lamb of God, then you talked about Frankie and stuff like that. But where does like the MySpace kind of deep dive comes in for you around that? Like kind of diving into Chelsea Grin and stuff like that. Was that with other members of the band? Like,
honestly, I think it kind of like, I don't know, it just came like with my interest of deathcore as it expanded, and like, you know, I would get interested in some things, and then like, you know, oh, I'd find this other band that I really like for a week, oh, I'd find this other band I really like, but like the constant was always Chelsea Grin. Also, I'm literally like a random ass person, so I don't think he'd see, but if you guys are genuinely in contact with him, if you wanna or able to like send him the EP and let him know like he's my biggest influence, that'd be awesome. Sorry, I feel bad for even asking, but like that's just so nuts to me.
Please don't feel bad. Please don't feel bad. And I'm gonna say it's gonna be on record, but I'll do it because like I cannot.
Yeah, I don't think he'd answer me.
But I'm actually talking to him, so I'm gonna do that. You know, he's a very cool dude, and he loves hearing new music, so I'm gonna do that. It's gonna be okay.
I can imagine. That's so awesome. Yeah, I know. Like, I got a few vocal lessons from Justin Bonnet of Tala, and even he was like, yeah, this EP's dope. I was like, let's go. Like that meant the world to me too. Shout out to him also. He's a great vocalist.
Would it be a good time to, like, we're talking about the EP, would it be a good time, or did you have
Let's go for it. Let's dive in.
What do you mean? Like talking about the EP?
Let's talk about the EP a bit, because like, look, it came out like 2 weeks ago. It's still fairly new. You mentioned some talks about like the beginnings of the band being kind of like there was a bit of a process between starting the band to now releasing the EP, you know, more than a year later. So I'd love to kind of dive into all that. You know, you guys worked with some cool people to get it all put together, more to sustain and stuff like that. So I'd love to kind of, can you walk us through, I guess, you know, doing the songs, like how was it for it to finally come together, you know? Yeah.
Like, okay, so like, am I starting like from
wherever you want? The floor is
all right. So first song that we wrote that ended up on the EP was Choking Victim. That came after like, hold on, I'm fixing my AirPods. Sorry about the noise. That came after like our first song ever. That was written with a different lineup for the most part. Like the only people who had stayed the same through all of this actually was me, myself, Mars, and Margot. So, you know, we like had written with our prior drummer at the time who got kicked out of the band at the speed of light for doing something very bad. So gone. And then we had a different bassist at the time too, but you know, it just like wasn't their thing after a while, which is like totally fine. You know, I think it just became like a lot with their obligations, whatnot. And it's like, okay, I don't think they'd really been in like a band before that. So like, it's, you know, it was all right. So then, you know, we had kind of moved on to like, this is where we kind of move on to Cognitive Dissonance at this point. You know, we're like writing this song. It's very cool. We've got like these weird like time signatures in there. We're like, yeah, this is dope as hell. This is fucking cool. So, you know, so from there, at this point, we had the guitarist of Diabla, Ash. She's one of my best friends. I love her so dearly. She was playing bass for us for a little while. And this is around like when Mike had joined too on drums. And, you know, we were writing like Cognitive Dissonance. And this is when we also started to write the When I Sew Your Mouth Shut, which is also very graciously to my heart titled Freak Bob, because I couldn't think of a title for months and months and months and months. And we just referred to it as Freak Bob. And in the files, it was Freak Bob. And I remember I sent it to my friend Shay to make like a review video. I'm sure a few of you know them. Mutilation on TikTok. They have like the super cool piercing set up. They're like really into black metal, and they always have like metal hot takes. They're the kindest person ever. So they did a review, but I like forgot to like rename the tracks in the file. So they were like, yeah, the song Freak Bob was awesome. And I was like, this is dope. Actually, I hope people refer to it as Freak Bob because it has a long ass title. But anyway, so that's when we started working on that. And then at the tail end of Ash, when she was like, you know, like bass just isn't for me, like I filled in the meantime. And when Kanan had joined the band, that's when we started writing Heard at Last, which is also very graciously named GH Day because Mars and Mike wrote it, I'm pretty sure, like 6 beers deep, like playing Guitar Hero for hours and hours and hours and hours. So it was just GH Day. So, but yeah, that was like the like order in which they were written. And you know, we were writing a lot more new music since then. Actually, we have something really cool going on with the Hate campaign pretty soon. Can't tell anybody. Okay. But yeah, but that was like, you know, I guess like the lineup changes that happened like related to the chronological order of the songs. And I think, you know, now that we're in kind of like our complete lineup mode, Kanan and Mike have added so much to the songs. Like Margot, Mars, and I will always joke, like we'll listen to the old recordings and we're like, damn, this is a low key like dookie, you know, like we're really lucky we have these guys. But yeah, that's definitely where it's at in terms of like process.
So how was like the kind of the process, I guess, from like, you know, you guys were writing songs. Did you guys know you guys were working towards like an EP and then like recording it? I saw you guys worked with quite a few different people. You guys have actual drums recorded, which in this day and age for younger bands is a rare feat. So I don't know.
Doesn't even exist anymore.
Doesn't even exist anymore.
No, I'm sorry. I don't like program drums at all. We're going to record them. But actually that was an atrocity in itself. So we went to like so many different people to record. I think it was like a grand total of like 3. It was ridiculous. So first we went to, I can't even trash them because I don't even fucking remember the name. They botched the drums so bad. We had to like go back and do it again. And they like, again, botched it like so fucking bad that we brought it to one of my dear friends, and now I guess the whole band's friends, Tom Miss. He's a wonderful person, and he kind of like fixed up the drums. And then we were like, okay, like, you know, I guess drums are sort of fixed. Guitar time, let's track over them. So Mars and Margot went to Margot's boyfriend, who's like also, you know, he does like mixing, recording, whatnot. And they recorded with him. And also before Kanan joined the band, this was like the in-between, like when Ash was like, I'm done. And like we were yet to find Kanan. Like we had him on the hook. We were like, okay, yeah, we know this kid's going to join. But like, you know, it wasn't like set in stone yet. So Mars did the bass parts there. And then after that, to get vocals, I went to Anthony I'm going to butcher this last name so bad. Salasudo. My band, please correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, so I recorded my vocals with him. And then Anthony ended up doing the final mixing, or the mixing. And then we had somebody named Roxanne. I'm also forgetting her last name right now. I feel like an atrocious person, did the mastering. But at the end of the day, because of the fact that the drums got so fucked up, like this, literally, I think this was like, since I don't even know. Yeah, Sala Studio. Yeah. Okay, there we go. So I think this was like going on since October, November. Like that's how long it took us to record. And honestly, I kind of wasn't fazed by it because like one time in Diablo, we worked with like a really bad producer and it took them fucking 10 months to mix our shit. Atrocious. We'll never do again. But, you know, so I'm like, damn, so like this low-key sucks. But like, yeah. So I was like, yeah, but, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, like it still did take longer than we wanted it to. But like, you know, we were also, you know, just like going through so many changes. And like, you know, if anything, I'm kind of glad that they butchered the drums the first time, because then they gave us an extra song for free, which ended up being Heard at Last. or else we were just going to have like a 3-song EP. That was the plan. But now we have a 4-song EP. So I guess at the end of the day, everything works out. And we also have like a super, we have super cool connections and friends now. So, it was a tumultuous journey, but not not something that wasn't worthwhile. Like it most definitely was. But next one will definitely be moving a lot faster for sure.
How was recording vocals for you? How was that experience? Was it the first time recording vocals in a studio?
Yeah, it was actually like fucking like terrifying. Yeah, I made everybody go upstairs. Like I was there with, I think who was there that day? Mars, Kanan, and my boyfriend had come with me too. And I was like, guys, can you go upstairs? Like you can't like watch me, because it was actually like Anthony was recording the vocals himself. So like it was like in his basement, which, he had like all the proper equipment, like he had the studio set up, but it was just at his house. So I was like, guys, can you go upstairs? Like, and then I've had like 3 beers and I was like, never mind, guys, come back downstairs. I'm gonna kill this shit. And then that was that.
A single day?
Actually, I was like, we're just fucking getting this done. Yeah, I wasn't gonna do it in like multiple days, because like we were already taking so long to record, and I know they were like, I was like, fuck, like I'm the last step before this gets mixed. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right, guys, like, so it really didn't take that long. I think it took like a grand total of like 4 or so hours to get like all the takes. It wasn't something super difficult. It was definitely, again, like very nerve-wracking at first. And I think going into it, like, like having done it before another time, I would feel a lot better about it and a lot more comfortable. But like every time like I'm like doing my vocals like isolated and my band hears me, I'm like, guys, do you think I suck now? Like, guys, like, but yeah, that's really how that went down.
Yeah, because after a while, it's just like you don't even know if what you hear is good, or like it's just you heard it too much, or like the same. Sometimes the same part, right? Like you keep hearing. You're like, I don't know. It could be good.
Yeah, and I think I like honestly, I did I'm kind of embracing it now, but for a very long time, I kind of struggled with the fact that like my voice like really did sound like very different, and I was never one to like try and copy. If anything, like I would always say like to myself and others, like I'm not going to try and copy somebody, because like my voice, my body, like my vocal cords, my like everything is like built differently. I'm inherently going to sound different, and like that's okay. I was just kind of worried that like I really like sounded kind of like too different, and I was like, fuck, like people aren't really even going to like recognize this as deathcore. Like they're not going to really think it's as cool. They're not going to like it as much. But then after even within like the first kind of 3 days of the release, I had seen a lot of feedback that was like, oh, like this is like very interesting. It's very different, and it doesn't feel like the vocal Olympics, which I am not a fan of. I'm sorry. I'm not a huge vocal Olympics kind of person. Like in a song, like, I think it's so cool.
You're saying that to the right people.
Yeah,
honestly, we're not like the biggest fan of that as well. If I may,
like, I think it's so impressive, but like, it's not for me. But like, yeah, sorry, continue.
No. It's my bad. But like, I just wanted to say it did work in your favor for what it's worth. At least, coming from, that's one of the first things I've noticed was just like, oh my God, this is refreshing. Like, I don't think I could name someone that you sound like, which is a very great. It's like, I think to me, and it is scary, right? Because you don't have any references. You cannot just be like, because obviously if you sound like somebody that everybody likes, you're like, oh, okay. But you didn't know, but it did work. And I think it's when Dom showed me your EP, I think that's the very first thing he mentioned. You're going to he knows I love when it's different and it stands out. And he's like, I think
it's very shrill, I think is a good way to describe it. Yeah.
Chaotic.
That means a lot to me. Thank you guys. Yeah, like it was definitely really scary, but I think I've like totally embraced it now, and I'm like, you know what, like that's just how I fucking sound, and it's cool as hell, and people like it, and like, as long as people can get down with it, like they can still get down with the music, they still find it enjoyable, they still are able to like recognize the genre, even though my vocals sound like a little bit different than what's typical, then I'll take it. Like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah, it's definitely very shrill sometimes. I've been like working on my lows and stuff, but I'm not a fan of false chord. I'm like entirely a fry screamer, and I'm like okay with that, because most vocalists really, like especially in deathcore, they only really use false chord, and I'm just I don't want to do that. I mean, like I still want to learn, obviously, but like it's not what feels the most authentic coming from me.
It's a cool attitude you have towards it, because some people really would have been hell bent on, oh, like I gotta find a sound that sounds like something else, or to be in, just want to sound like your favorite vocalist, and I think to further that, I think a lot of people wish they had a unique sounding vocal, and it's hard for them to find that, to really sound like your own voice, right? To have your own thing. And I feel what you're saying as well, when you say like, because it's an unknown quantity, you're not even sure if people are gonna like it. It's tough to. I can imagine the kind of like, oh shit, I guess I gotta put this out into the world before I even know, right? Outside of that, it's maybe your bandmates could reassure you, or maybe people at shows before putting it out. But even then, you're like, oh, they're just being nice.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's kind of how I felt. I was like, they're just being nice, and like I've definitely like heard similar vocals before, but that was just like not in deathcore. But at the end of the day, like, I think also what just kind of like solidified my confidence for me was like, in any facet of anything anybody's going to try to succeed at, they're not going to like stand out and be something worth attention, worth like noticing, if it's not different than what they already know. Like, like it really, like all the things that we admire were at one point different, than what was normal. Like you can apply this in so many different facets. So it's different, and I'm okay with that. It sounds cool. People like it. They enjoy that it's not like over the top. They enjoy that it sounds like, again, like kind of shrill, and I'm glad, I'm glad that this is something cool and different and unique to people that they can kind of like get down with.
Yeah. It's like, it's a good thing you bring up that at one point, all these things were unique, right? Because we do always see it as well, where then something catches on, and then other people start doing it. And then maybe, who knows, in a couple of years, and a bunch of people are trying to do your vocal style, right? Because that's like
that would be nuts.
Who knows, right? But
I don't know.
It's a funny thing to navigate, because then it's like, even internally, you're like, oh well, what made me unique is other people are doing it now, which is like technically a good thing, but diminishes the whole.
I always take it as a compliment, honestly. Like those things really never upset me. Like if you think something I'm doing is cool, like by all means. I had like a woman come into the tattoo shop and she pointed at my tattoo on my arm and she said, "I want that same tattoo." I was like, okay, tell me where. That's so cool that you like it. But I mean, even as like a whole, going back to like the being different thing, like not even just me, I think I really so firmly believe that Torn Open is so fucking different. Like you really, like, I mean, like, yes, it's deathcore. Like, yes, we have that at the base, but like, other than that, like you cannot like super subgenre us. Like you really can't. And I think that's super cool. Like, obviously you can hear like, the thrash metal influences, like, I don't know, like metalcore, you can hear like, I don't even know, like everything, like a melodic death metal, like, you can hear like a lot of different things. Even in the outro of Heard It Last, like it's like this whole kind of quiet, like wispy section, because Margot, our lovely guitarist, is also like a very, very popular lo-fi artist too. And she like does that stuff normally. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Total. Like, I know it's like not your thing, but that's her. Check her out. It's cool. It's like, nice music. But again, like it's so different. Like, you would not listen to her music that she makes individually and then expect her to play in a deathcore band. But like, it carries over kind of where it needs to, if that makes sense. Like we all have these just like, intricate, like unique sort of styles. Even with like Mike, I don't know if you could really hear it on the track, but when you see him play live, like he really like hammers on the floor tom as like a part of his like regular beats, like like it's not just like snare, like and it's very groovy. It's very I mean I don't even know if I'd say comparable to Sepultura, but like just comparable to like feeling the groove of a song. And like, I don't know, just like everybody's got something so cool going on that they bring to the band. And I'm like so confident that it sets us aside from other people. And I mean, I can just kind of hope that it'll take us far. Like that's really all I could want, is for this band to go far. I want to play on some shit like Warped Tour. I want to, go on tour with like these cool big bands, So yeah, I don't know.
Well, honestly, that's one of the first things I've noticed as well. You mentioned like kind of a jazz background, stuff like that. And like I have a really good friend of mine who has this amazing like experimental jazz band. And when I heard some of it in the way that you guys are writing, which is a very good thing, but you seem to be showcasing, there's a lot of details, first of all, and like you showcase each member, which is rare in metal, but even more in deathcore, I find. And your bass stand out in certain parts. I heard, I think it's in the song when I saw your mouth and stuff like that. Like there's like a cowbell at a certain pace, and then it switched to another pace until you get to the breakdown. All details like that. You don't hear much of that, going on in and maybe I'm wrong, but I kind of heard like the kind of the jazz and the other mindset behind the writing. And I wanted to ask, basically, I noticed all these details. Was that something that came naturally, or you did spend a lot of time try to showcase each individual? Like, how did that work, that kind of collective creation?
I think it comes very naturally because all of our strengths are different. So obviously each strength is going to shine. Like, like we usually have a very easy time writing, Margot will come with a riff, or Mars will come with a riff, or they'll start collaborating together, and then they're working. Oh, Mars, here, you do this, you keep like the heavy part. Margot's going to put a melody. Okay, Margot's going to, like keep some different, like kind of more technical, or like, I don't know, like groovy riff. And then Mars is going to do something more technical. And then Kanan always has something to complement whatever Mike's doing as like a bassist, and whatever the fuck Mike's doing. I don't know. It's just like fucking ridiculous and cool. I think it comes very naturally to us. And like, if there ever is like, I mean, like, I think small details, like, also kind of come, like, with what we're writing, but it's not uncommon for us to kind of, like, send a video. Okay, like, this just happened the other day. We just started writing a new song, and then Mars was like, hey, why don't we, like, throw this drop here in the breakdown, and then, like, like, I don't know, just, like, different stuff, like different kind of ornamental pieces come in as it goes, and it's not really forced whatsoever. It's just like, oh, that could be cool. Oh yeah, put a harmony here. Oh yeah, maybe you should do like a little, and I always bug them, guys, can we do triplets with snare on 3 and put like an obsessive amount of pinch harmonics? And then mind you, I like really can't play the guitar to save my life. Like I could play Black Label by Lamb of God, and that's like the full extent of like what I can do. But yeah,
that's cool. That's cool to hear. It's very natural as a process overall.
Yeah, for sure. It's very natural, which is so nice.
Be involved in that process too,
yes.
Right? I think like Yan was mentioning, the typical thing we see now is like a single person kind of writing everything. And then
that pisses me off so bad. Like, because then you're not sorry, like, I mean, I know it works for some people, but if I were in that scenario, that would piss me off so bad, because like everybody has their own like sort of like different creativity that they just kind of have to like tap into. Like everybody at the end of the day has something to bring to the table, So I think it's kind of like, listen, if your band can't get shit done, like I think everybody kind of needs like, a leader, in the sense that it's like, oh, like, guys, come on, we have to do this. I mean, actually, even so, I don't even know if Torn Open has that. Like, I mean, I think, there's times where it's like, oh, did we respond to this guy? Oh, so did you like get on the merch design? Oh, guys, like, can we answer this guy about the gig? Like, and we'll all bring up different shit. But even still, like, I couldn't understand how in some bands that works. Just I couldn't do it. I'd feel way too limited.
It's cool. It's a good perspective, by the way. Like Dom said, like it might be obvious for you, but it's fairly rare, I would say, as a mindset. And it goes, by the way, beyond metal. I would say, like, it applies to any band's music or whatever. And I share your perspective, by the way. Like, my personal vision is why be in a band when you're, like, you're all not collaborating. But I
exactly.
guess
you give some, you take some. And, like, also, like, my big motto is you're working with multiple people. You're not going to like every riff you play. You're not going to like every beat you do. I'm not going to like, like every, like, I don't know, whatever. I'm not going to like, oh, they want me to put a scream here. Like, sometimes I don't like it, but like at the end of the day, like as long as you can kind of find something to hold on to that like brings you joy, then that's that. I mean, I'm lucky with Torn Open. I fucking love everything we do, but like it's never upsetting to me if it's like, I don't really like that riff, like whatever. Exactly. There's 5 people in this band, like, that pisses me off when people are like, oh, but this riff, it like fucking sucks and I don't want, like, oh my God, stop crying, like live. play the riff, write a new song with a riff that you like. Like, not every song, you know, not everything you do is gonna be something that like everybody in the band likes. Like, that is just part of it. And I think, honestly, call me crazy, but as long as you like at least 25% of what you're doing, you'll be fine. As long as you know how to cooperate with other people and understand different perspectives and like generally like be a good, caring human, you'll be fine.
Well said. I mean, and you mentioned not to jump, but you mentioned, you know, design, responding for merch and stuff like that. I would like to talk about, because I love the artwork design, right? Like, I think it's a big part. I would love, first of all, to talk about the concept, how it came, and then if you could also talk about the logo, because I think it's super sick. It would be it would be great. I don't know if it's all the same, like, I don't know, different artists and stuff like that, but it would be great to hear how that whole thing came.
Yeah, so the logo, I had like made the first original logo, and this was like also when I kind of like first started doing digital art. I'm mostly a traditional artist, but like now that I do tattoos, like I have to do digital art. So this was kind of like at the beginning of when I was like starting to wave. Yeah, low-key, I can't lie. Now that I've like got it down, Procreate's my best friend. I did the last merch drop entirely, other than the logo. But like, you know, like design wise, like that was all me. But you know, I did the first logo, and then you know, after that, we kind of were like, okay, like we have the money, we want to invest into a new logo. So we went to somebody who like we saw actually like a lot of people use before, and I had even used personally. It's, what is it? It's, I forget I don't know their exact name. I think they're from like I don't know. I don't know where they're from. I remember people by their Instagram usernames, and it's really bad, and it's a really bad like trait of mine. But I'm pretty sure it's like Cartsuous M or something. Like, I don't know, like CARTU. I don't know. Yeah, like I don't know. I've been to him for 3 different logos so far. So you know, and each time, yeah, like Final Girls is the Final Girls logo before Final Girls was no more, Torn Open logo, and then Diablo logo. So yeah, and he kills it every time. So that we were like really excited. I think the inspiration for that, I don't know. I think I was pushing really hard for texture because I love the way Skinless's logo looks with like the red wrapped around. And like, I think, you know, there's a lot of like we have like just black or just white renditions of our logo, but there's like a few different ones where it's like dual color where it kind of encapsulates that texture. But we also wanted like the pointy kind of like harshness of like, you know, an original deathcore logo. I think we kind of went for like Skinless logo meets like the first Suicide Silence logo. I think that was our idea, and it worked out well for us. Honestly, I think we can all kind of like, I don't know, nobody's ever been like, damn, this stupid logo. I think it looks cool. We all really like it. So,
well, I think it's another way to stand out, if I may. You know, that's another thing that I've noticed. I think I told them pretty quickly too. Like those are the things that I noticed. But like we have this conversation a lot, but and it might sound obvious, but like it's very important. The logo of a band, like the merch you're gonna do, your name on a flyer, like it needs to attract. Like people need to be like, oh, what is that? Like it looks pretty cool, you know. And
yeah, I kind of wanted like the genre to be somewhat recognizable through the logo, because one, I hate when a band has a logo where it's like, oh, like this is about to be like a fire death metal band, and you click and it's like a punk band, and I'm like, rip that shit off right now. Never do that again. But also like the opposite, if it's like a heavy as fuck band, I mean, like some people can get away with it, like the Crimson Armada, like whatever, they have like a normal font, and I fucking love the Crimson Armada, by the way, just putting that out there. But like, you know, they can get away with it. Or like, you know, I dare say the Acacia Strain too, like, you know, it's not like anything super, you know, there's some bands that can get away with it, but like sometimes it's like, you know, they just like went on like dafont.com and like put something together, and then like, you know, but it's like a heavy as fuck band. And you're like, I wouldn't have known. Like I wanted some aspect of like our genre. I mean, like, you know, like I guess actually the logo is a reflection of it. It's like a mix, but like you can kind of pull some aspects and be like, okay, like this kind of looks like, you know, blah, blah, blah logo. Like I can see, you know, something like, I could see that they might be a deathcore band. Okay, this is cool on this flyer. Like maybe this is like a deathcore bill. You know, or like it's similar to like the like more melodic choir, orchestra, deathcore bands where they have like the very symmetrical, ornamental, almost gothic logos now, i.e. Lorna Shore, you know, but they all do that now. So like you could tell, like I can look at a band's logo. If they have one of those logos, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm about to hear like 2 minutes of orchestra and then the Vocal Olympics.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I say that with love. Sorry, Kanan.
No, it's
Kanan
fine,
loves Lorna Shore.
It's completely fine. But I think, to your point, I think what you're saying is it's important to represent, well, your logo needs to represent what you're doing. So it was important for you. Like you thought about that part when you went into and made your logo. And if I can ask about the artwork too, I think you talked a little bit, but I would be very curious because it's cool. Honestly, it became really quickly one of my favorites. So like, was that like an idea of yours? Was that like the artist? Like, what was the inspiration behind it?
We gave the artist an idea. I mean, I was honestly pretty adamant of like, needing like this white, like this like little cute bunny, like being like fucking mutilated in like a weird way, like, and because I think it's also like kind of a reflection of the lyrics in a sense too, because I'm not like an inherently angry person, but like, again, like I said, I think being a vocalist is very cathartic for me. So sometimes like, I really do gotta like bring up shit that's gonna make me like so fucking pissed. And then in a sense, that was like a reflection of some of my experiences, whether they be for me personally or like some people that I love, like, like in a sense, it kind of like was a mutilation. Like I wanted it to be like a mutilation of purity. And that reflects on some of the lyrics, of some of the songs. I don't know if the lyrics are on Spotify. They might be. If anything, I'll fix that, but they are on the CDs. But even still, like, but that also isn't like, it isn't just that. For example, Heard It Last, like it could be a lot of things that get me riled up. Like that one's about climate change. Like I really care about the planet. I'm really adamant about like being vocal about climate change and how it's going to affect us. So like, that, for example, that one's probably not particularly related, but it has to do with like the, gotta get myself mad kind of thing. But yeah, otherwise I'd say the other three songs lyrically are super on par with that.
That's cool. Then there's the, I guess, yeah, like there's the song title that fits well, I guess, with the needle being threaded, and then the
yeah, so that was like intentional.
Yeah. So you guys congratulations. You guys put out physicals and they all sold out. Like,
yeah, I know.
Too.
In less than 24 hours. Mm-hmm. That's nuts. All of them, like, I think there was like, we were getting 25 copies to be selling at shows, but there were 75 copies and they sold out in less than 24 hours. It was so nuts. I was like eating dinner at Applebee's with Margot and my best friend when we found this out, and we were like, oh my God. So that was like super cool.
On the physicals, there's going to be something about like an actual needle and thread kind of poking through the artwork, right? That's like a super fucking cool touch. Can you kind of speak to that a little bit?
I'm going to be so honest with you. I actually didn't know about that until Margot told me like 3 days ago. I was like we take turns. Like it's low key. Like we have like schizophrenic Instagram. Like we'll take turns responding. And like it's all different people. And like you could definitely tell sometimes too. We all talk like way differently. And it's even funnier sometimes when we'll be like talking to each other in the text chain. Like somebody will say something and then I'll respond. And then Margot will respond like 2 seconds after. And I'm like, hey, Margot. And then she's like, hi. But it's like just looks like schizogram, I guess. But yeah, I think honestly, BTST is so fucking cool for doing that. Like I think at least from the interactions that I've had with him, he seems like super invested. He seems to really like torn open a lot, and I can't be like more grateful for that. It's so wonderful, and I'm so glad that like we were able to have somebody like make physical copies like this, and be able to like add this nice little touch to it. Like that's dope as hell, and I wouldn't have even thought of that myself. It's so cool to see these like wonderful creatives and labels doing these things. So I guess in terms of speaking to that, like that's what I can say. It wasn't really something I don't think that like we had planned, but it's a beautiful touch and I'm so grateful for it.
Not to put you on the spot, but is that something that's going to be important for you guys to kind of like every time you release something kind of at least do a little bit of physicals, or like it's
Yeah, honestly, this is actually my first time ever like releasing physical media with a band, so I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's kind of neat, and I'm really happy to like see the demand for CDs. I think kind of our deal, at least like what we had discussed, we were like, cool, like CDs for EP, maybe if we were to do like a split or something, CDs, but like if we're gonna do an album, we'll probably do records and CDs. You know what I mean? Because I don't want somebody to spend like I don't know, it's just me personally, but like I don't want somebody to spend like $40 on like a record and then it's like 3 songs. Like I know it's kind of for the commodity, but like, there's still a lot of people that use it. And I want to make sure like it kind of, it's like a good, good way you're spending your money. And I know you could do like the smaller, the 45s or whatever, but like nobody likes those. Yeah. I mean, some people do. Sorry if you do.
There's not many in everything that's happening in like, I guess, revival scene specifically or metal in general. There hasn't really been that many kind of the 7 inches. It's all been the same kind of like regular format vinyl that's been
yeah. And I mean, I think for like good reason too, like I just don't think like they're used enough to be like a hot commodity in any sense, unless like some big band is like, oh, this is so fucking cool all of a sudden, then maybe, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, to me, look, to me personally, I've got very few vinyls, but the ones that I do, that it's kind of more to have the big art. So the smaller form factor has no purpose to me,
Yeah, that's fair. See, I want exactly.
The purpose.
That's totally fair. I'm the same way. I really only have like a few vinyls. I have like some Lamb of God ones. I actually recently acquired the Wrath like full edition box set. Coolest gift ever. Shout out to my boyfriend for getting me that. So cool. But like, I really don't have that many vinyls, but I have a fuck ton of CDs, like a ridiculous amount. Like I've got like whole fucking like crate, And I think also kind of they're like, I don't know. Me personally, I think CDs are like easier to collect, but also like a lot of people will way disagree with that, and that's fair. I don't blame you. I know you want to like see the bigger art, but I think, in terms of like also like going in, like in tandem with like revival, that's probably, I mean, I don't know. I was like 6 while MySpace was peaking, so I can't really speak to that, but like I would assume that you guys were like more CD oriented.
What are you getting at here? You calling us old? Is that,
no, I'm not. I'm just saying I literally didn't know.
Right. I literally know. I'm just saying right about it. We
agree for what it's worth. We agree.
You can say
no, I'm just like saying like I don't know.
I found a gray hair this week, so like we are old and it's fine. For what it's worth, it's amazing to us to see. We hear you talking about Alex Kohler, Chelsea Grin, all that stuff, and like Whitechapel early material, and every single time I see them's faces, we're always like, that's incredible. The simple fact that MySpace deathcore is back is blowing my mind. People at the time were saying that it wouldn't last. People back then were just like, it's just and it's back probably stronger than ever. So
yeah, I agree with you. Also, I'm gonna pull out a crazy one. Hot take: one of my favorite deathcore bands ever is Hester Prynne.
Sure.
The Gods Will Divorce is like the coolest fucking album. Like it's so good. I just had to put that one out there too.
I think a lot of people are just going to be like, hell yeah, more than anything. So
yeah, well, I mean, like I know they're really not super popular. Like anytime I mention them and somebody knows, they're like, whoa, pull that one out of us, and I'm like, sorry.
They got a bit of a light shown on them recently with the vinyl release that they did that Goswell divorces for. So I mean there's been a bit of that, but yeah, it's definitely, I think that's kind of the thing, right, is that a lot of these bands from back in the day that like to us are like near and dear, they're like all bands that didn't really do much. They didn't go anywhere, they didn't massively tour or get huge. It is cool to mirror what Yan was saying. Some of these bands, for us it's kind of like how does someone in 2025 even discover these bands, right? That's kind of like the main thing, because like we know about some of these bands because we were there, right? So it's always special for us to see like people being like genuinely interested, and you saying like your favorite deathcore record is that. I'm like, oh shit, cool. Like it's always it's always surprising to us, so that's cool.
I spend like an unreasonable amount of time on Spotify trying to find a bunch of bands. It's so fun. I don't know, I love finding like these weird fucking bands. Like I also really love We Butter the Bread with Butter. Like what, like that weird as fuck synth in there. I'm like, yeah, like this is fire. I could be on Spotify all day looking for this shit. This is so cool.
You would have loved MySpace so much. I'm hearing you talking and I'm like, you would have a trip, because MySpace that's what it was about. Like we both spent like, I don't even want to know how many hours, but like, just you would click on a band, you like that band, the friends of the band, there's a lot of chances you would like them, you would like open another tab. You could spend days, you know, just finding out new things. Sometimes you would come across a band, there's like 1,000 people listening to them, and yet they're sick, you know. So it was great for that. I'm gonna say it's missing right now a little bit.
That's fair. I always make
recommended. You kind of can hop through bands there, but sometimes it's kind of like a circle jerk. You like get caught in a loop of like it's just the same pack of bands that are recommended within each other, and you're like, fuck. Like once you go through them, you're like, okay, that's where
another song from the band that was rookie. You're like, I know. So
no, I was able to kind of like, you know, I don't know. I can navigate my way for the most part. I think it's fun. I think it's funny too. Like, you know, I was alive like during the MySpace era. I was just kind of like low key, like really busy listening to Kesha because like I just like wasn't that old. Like I wasn't like old enough to be able to like, you know, like truly experience and like witness these things. Like I was not a teenager. Like I was dancing to Kesha in my pink room, you know? Yeah. So,
still counts.
Yeah, still counts.
I'd love to kind of tap into tattooing for a second, just because I saw the Her Demise My Rise logo you did, and I was like, that's fucking badass. That's so sick.
Thank you. Also, I just remembered I was going to compliment your Alicia sticker on your microphone, and I was going to say I also really, really, really like them. I did like a few like little series on TikTok, so I did like deep dive on like a few bands, and then I was like talking about Alicia, and I was like, oh, you know, like Elysium's Revenge, and then they were like, I had like somebody who was like one of the original members, and they were like, yeah, like that, I was in that, like that's nuts. And I was like, that's just so crazy. Okay, anyway, so tattooing. Yeah, so I did do the Her Demise My Rise tattoo. I have a friend, Sarah, you know, she had just sent me like a few like of their different logos, and I'm like, we're doing the fucking neon one, duh. And I think, you know, it came out really good. I was very, very proud of that tattoo. I mean, I really have not been tattooing for very long whatsoever. I'm still an apprentice. I think that was probably like my 10th or 11th ever tattoo on somebody.
First color tattoo, right? Is that what, did I read correctly?
I think, that was like my first like real color tattoo, you know, that had like a lot of stuff. I mean,
to do it?
I was a little bit nervous about that one. I think because the stencil was like, because like all the like in organs and intestines, it was like really weird. So I'm like sitting there, like I have like the full color picture next to me, and I'm like looking at it, and then I'm like one line, and then I'm looking at it, and like, you know, I was really paying attention to detail on that one for sure, because like I wanted to make sure it looked good. Like I'm not gonna fuck that up. It looks so cool. But yeah, I was really excited to do that tattoo. I'm honestly really grateful. I get to do a lot of music tattoos. Like I got to do a typo negative tattoo on my friend Hallie, who I think I saw in the chat. I don't know if she's still here, but you know, I'm really happy to have done that. I did an acid bath tattoo today, like on my guitarist. Oh yeah, I just posted it. I'm so proud. I completed the artwork to Pagan Terrorism Tactics, because like, sorry, adjusting. Okay. Because the full artwork, like it literally just cuts off. So I like literally went in and like kind of painted it as if like this were the complete artwork. And I managed to like do so. And I tattooed it on my boyfriend, and it came out so fucking good. I'm so happy about that one. But today I even like got to like tattoo in literally Arial Google Docs font the words Elliott Smith on Margot, my guitarist. Like, you know, it's so cool. Like I'm so lucky that I get to do music tattoos. I'm pretty sure I'm doing like a Megadeth one soon. I'm trying to think if I did like any others. I don't know. I can't really remember off the top of my head, but like, you know, I'm really excited, and I'm really lucky. I like did kind of a stamp print kind of Chelsea Grin tattoo on like a flash. And I've got like 3 people who want it right now, and I'm like, hell yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah, well, that's what I've been seeing. Like a lot of the stuff you've been kind of posting, like pushing forward as like the stuff you kind of want to tattoo on people, has mostly been kind of like metal and deathcore like oriented. So it's cool. It's cool to see that, because it's like it's such a specific niche, but like that's awesome to see. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It brings me so much joy to like be able to tattoo music stuff, because like I don't know, like I really like band tattoos, but I also like when they have like cool designs and are different. Like don't get me wrong, I love just doing like logos too, you know, like that's fine. Like, you know, one of my good friends literally just has like the Whitechapel logo above his knee, and it looks fucking dope, you know, like that shit, you know, that like it works. But I also like being able to do like kind of different artwork. Yeah, Margot's saying in the chat, cool designs like Arial font. Did you guys see that? Like, did you see that? I just posted it today. I don't know if you can like pull up the picture or something. Or wait,
actually, I can do that. Yeah, 1000%.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I thought something disconnected. Actually, it's really funny. That's like, okay, so Margot got my like second tattoo, my seventh tattoo, and then like I don't even know how many. We did 2 of them today. I don't know. I'm just like really excited. I get to like I love Margot so much. I get to play deathcore with her, and I also get to tattoo her like every week. It's so fun. But yeah, awesome. I really enjoy tattooing. Honestly, like I'd always told my parents ever since I was like 12 or 13, I was like, I'm going to be in a band and I'm going to do tattoos. Like that's just what I was built for. And here we are. Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, I don't really ever think they had like a problem. I'm really grateful. My parents were always very encouraging like of my interest in like the arts and creativity. You know, they genuinely believed that I like really did have like a knack for it and a drive for it, like, you know, artistically in one way or another, whether it be music or, you know, like physical art or tattoos. Like they did encourage it. Like they really did, you know, and I'm really grateful for that because I think because I had like that encouraging background, I was able to like flourish in other areas that a parent would want you to worry about, like school and shit like that, you know, because I was like, you know, I'm so lucky to like have gotten that support. And I know it's like kind of rare sometimes, but I'm so grateful that my parents were able to do that for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's definitely rare. If I may ask, were they surprised a little bit by the screaming though? You know what I mean? Because like it's one thing to do music, but what you're doing is the extreme of the music.
Yeah.
So.
I think, honestly, I've been listening to metal for so long with these kind of vocals. Like, this wasn't something new to them. Like, they knew this was the kind of music I enjoyed. I don't really think they expected me to become, like, a metal vocalist. I had, like, an interest in singing a little bit, like, 5 or so years ago. Like, I took a lesson or 2, and then I was just like whatever. Like, I can't really sing, which is still true. Like, I can scream. I can't sing. I can match pitch. Like I can whatever. Like I'm good. I have like very good relative pitch when it comes to like being able to like sing things in that way. But like I'm not a singer. I don't really think. But yeah. So I don't think they were like really surprised. I don't know. My mom's like not a huge metal fan, and that's totally okay. It's just like not her thing. She's not a huge fan of the screaming, you know, which is like fair. You know, it's definitely like probably really jarring, you know, like to somebody who's not like integrated to it. I remember I was showing my professor the other day, like my album, and he was like, yeah, like these titles are fucking nuts. And I was like, oh, sorry. And he's like, are you like evil? And I was like, no, like, it's like, no, I'm actually a really nice guy. Like, this is kind of just part of it. Like, if that makes sense, like, this is part of the culture. But my dad, like, was like, okay, yeah, like, that checks out. Cool as fuck, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shout out Professor Brandon, Kanan said. Yeah, I mean, either way, like, that's the thing. Like, whether there was things that they understood or not about, like, what I was up to, like, they were still very supportive every step of the way, you know?
Good to hear that, honestly.
Yeah.
It does make a huge difference. You don't have to understand it or even like it, but the support means a lot, you know?
Yeah, so exactly. Like, you know, like I'm so thankful that like, you know, my parents have also been like so supportive of like my tattoo apprenticeship too, especially because like it's not really like steady money right now, you know? I mean, I'm getting by, but like, you know, like they're like, you know what, like that's okay. You go to school full time. Like if you need like help anywhere necessary, like we can help you. Cause I also used to be like, I was a bartender for 2 years. So, you know, like it was just a very big difference from those like 2 occupations where like, you know, I'm an apprentice, like I'm not getting paid. Like finally I'm getting tipped now from doing works, but for a while like I get like $40 on the weekend if I helped, you know, so like I'm very grateful for that. But yeah, like, you know, and just like a lot of facets, they've always just kind of like encouraged me. Yeah, you know, they were like, all right, like as long as you do your best and as long as you like are a good human being and succeed in the places that you need to, you know, then like that's fine, go at it. And I think it's kind of funny because I was like, you know, especially in high school, I wouldn't really necessarily say now, I'm not a huge school fan right now, but in high school I was like, you know, doing all my music and art stuff, but I was like so academically focused and like I would not be caught out partying, like anything like that. I mean, like now I'm like almost done with college and I'm like, I fucking hate this. I hate school. I want a tattoo. Like, you know, so it's definitely really different. It's definitely really different now, but like, I think I was able to like succeed in both facets.
Yeah.
Because of the support that I received.
It's almost as though overly controlling parents only make you want to rebel, and the opposite.
Yeah, I know. So nuts. Yeah, I think it's so funny. I always got like stereotyped so much though. Like in high school, they're like, "Oh, you smoke weed." Like now I do, but like guys, not then. Like guys, be nice to me.
well, it's always the same thing. You mentioned earlier, like the from the outside, you look at the titles, you look at the art. Like it's kind of normal to think like these people are crazy type thing. From someone like. Picture someone who's waking up, puts their radio on with some, upbeat, like whatever is trending, because I don't know anything anymore, but like something super positive. And then you show that and you're like, hey, that's what I do. And the only thing they see is like horror visuals, like violent titles, people screaming, and they're just like, you're not well, probably, So
then they like look at me like bright green hair, like metal in my face. Like I do have like a lot of tattoos. Like they're not all on my arms, like and like I don't know. I definitely I get a lot of judgment, which I mean like is understandable, but at the same time, like not the worst thing in the world, but like I don't know, like sometimes it still like hurts, when I'm like literally just trying to be a kind person. Like I was like literally in Walgreens the other day and I was just like minding my own business and I was like being so polite to everybody, and like all these people are like looking at me and I'm like, guys, like I'm literally standing here being so nice, like can we please like not act like I'm a freak show? I mean, also I live in a suburban area, so I mean, I don't know. It's different now. Like a lot of people younger than me are like a lot more experimental in the way they look and present themselves and like what they're interested in. So I guess it's becoming more normal. But like it's a suburban town in like North New Jersey. There's not going to be a lot of people who are like, this is totally normal,
No, but
outside of most people's norms there for sure.
Yeah, and like that's okay. Like I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem being with outside of most people's norms. Like I enjoy like being different, looking different. Like, I mean, compared to my peers, I look the same as everybody else. But
in that world, you're
I'm normal as hell. But
you
like
would stand out looking differently. You know what I mean? You would look quote unquote normal, and in metal you would stand out. Probably it would be the opposite. But to your point, I just want to close with that. Like it's like these people where it's not coming from, yes, it's judgment, but like it's just they're just surprised, they don't know what it is, it's far from what they know and stuff like that. But the best thing you can do is what you do, by being kind and just being nice and stuff like that. Even if on the moment they're still judgmental, over time, by seeing people just being nice that they're judging, that's the way it changes, right? Because if you're upset, they're just gonna be like, that's what I thought, right? If you respond to that, if you're any kind, which would be normal, which would be understandable, but they would be like, that's what I thought. Look at how arrogant they are. You know what I mean? So by being kind, by smiling and just showing that it's coming from someone who did face tattoos at 18 in a very small town back, and we're talking like 15 years ago where tattoos were not accepted a little bit. And I
think your face tattoos look so cool, by the way. I think they look so awesome. The placement, everything, like they're very different. Like, normally you see like the same few rotation of face tattoos. I think they're cool. Like I really do. I think they suit you very well.
Thank you very much. Coming up from a tattoo artist on top of that, you would be amazed at the amount of people who didn't want to tattoo my face, and for good reason. I was 18, but these people were just like, that kid is crazy and he's gonna regret it. So I get it.
Well, listen, you're doing your thing. You're happy. You're a nice guy. Like, it didn't affect anyone. Honestly, it's funny. I kind of noticed that usually elderly folk are way nicer than almost anybody else. And I think that's so funny because like you'd think it's the opposite because like, obviously like appearing like this was pretty unacceptable, especially if you were born like near like 1940, like, like so those people would be like, what, 80 something now? So like, but those are the same people who are so nice. And I think that's really awesome too.
I
they
think
know better.
Well, it's
they know better.
You get the give a fuck meter goes off the chart. You just don't give a fuck about anything anymore. Like and like try. I think there's like a certain age where it's like everything has to be cool. There's like judgment on it. You're like judging everything. And it's, I don't know. There's not everyone's like that, obviously. But I think generally speaking, I think there just gets an age where it's like, I don't give a fuck about anything. Like, it's chill.
Yeah.
You got face
that's
tats
fair.
and piercings. And,
Yeah, like literally what the hell? Like, it doesn't, like, I'm not going to judge somebody on something that literally does not affect me. Like, if it doesn't affect, like, what do I have to say? Like, it's not worth it. It's not worth wasting the energy getting mad or being judgmental if it, like, literally, like, wouldn't make a difference if you went about your day not thinking about it, you know? Like, don't, I don't know. It literally goes back to, like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it. Like, it's as easy as that. I'm going to grab my cat really quick. He keeps meowing at me.
You're good.
You would think it's easy, yet it's not, you know. But to your point, just to close with that real quick, like you mentioned, you know, you don't give a fuck the older you get. Oh, here we go.
Here it is.
Here we go.
He was like meowing at me and walking towards me. He'll probably like, hold on.
It's okay. Yeah,
He'll chill. He's very talkative. He might have something to say. Well, it depends. It depends.
He's welcome to the podcast.
He's chilling now.
So
there we go. He's happy now. Right?
Aussie boy.
He's invited.
Yeah.
So
his full name is literally Ozzy Prince of Darkness. So like we adopted him that way too. So well, not adopted him, but like we rescued him that way. He's a
prince. So I don't think we would even be allowed to refuse, you know, the presence of a prince in that sense. So, but yeah, no, I guess I was just saying, like, the older you get, I think it's a good point. It's like you said, you don't give a fuck, but like the way I see it too is that you went through more in life, right? The things that matters when you're younger, but like all these people we forget, but old people, they've lost people, they went through a lot of stuff. So all that stuff, I'm guessing, just doesn't matter anymore. It's just, you know, they just
you
want
have
people.
much more to reflect on.
Exactly. So I think because to your point, same thing with me. Sometimes I would see an older person coming to me at the grocery store and I would be like, there we go. I would be like, I'm going to get like a speech and they would just be, hey, it's cool, your flower. And like, she's like 90 and she's like, it's really beautiful. And I was like, oh my God, you know? So yeah,
that's so cool. That really warms my heart to hear, honestly. Like, I don't know. I think of my tattoos and piercings as like accessories that I don't have to take off, if that makes any sense. Like, it just feels like I'm accessorizing and like showing off what's important to me and like what looks beautiful to me. So like I never really like thought of it as anything sort of disgraceful. It's just art, you know. But obviously, like, I'm so art centric, of course I'm gonna be like, yeah, art, you know, whatever. But like, you know, you get my point. Like, it's not worth wasting your time getting upset over. Yeah, exactly.
It's worth fighting for who you are. I'm just gonna end with that.
I agree with you. I agree with you 1,000,000%. Ozzy, what are you doing?
I'd love to land the plane here, but I've got a few questions, a few rapid fire questions to ask from the IG post.
Totally.
And,
okay, I will like be short about it.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
I promise
I meant more
won't,
rapid fire because I don't think there's much to elaborate on these things. But if it happens, it happens. And then I have a story of that I need to hear about that we'll end off with. So, which guitar player do you like better? Is the first question.
Yeah, that's funny as fuck. Of course, coming from my own guitar players, you're the ones asking that. I love them both so dearly. They're both such awesome people. I'm not answering that because I can't. Sorry, guys.
Cop out answer, but okay, well, we'll accept it.
What am I supposed to say? Actually, I'm going to pit them against each other. Neither. I hate you both. Fight.
Well, yeah,
no, I'm joking. I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to put them in
fight.
like a little coliseum and make I think that way about Groundhog Day. I don't think like there should be two groundhogs that have two different opinions. I think one should be like assigned like earlier spring and the other should be like assigned late winter and then they just fight.
Sure.
Like, I think that would be a lot more effective and entertaining. Anyway, sorry, no, I'm rambling. Go. Next one.
Okay, Sophia, is it true that you kick puppies and karate chop babies?
Yeah, that's real as fuck coming from my friend Tyler, bruh. For the sake of the bit, sure. Whatever floats your boat. Yeah. You know what? Maybe I'll come to you in like some sort of prophetic vision where you can like only see me like kicking puppies and karate chopping babies or the other way around. If it comes to you that way, then sure. But otherwise, in real life, I'm a nice guy. I like puppies and babies. Sorry.
Okay, now a little bit of a story time. You feel free to elaborate as much as you want on this one. I was told to ask you about this time that you scared Phil Bozeman. Can you elaborate on that and tell the story?
I don't think I like scared him. Wait, who'd you hear this from?
You can give the context.
No. Okay, like I need to hear who this was from first because I don't think I necessarily scared him. Was it my band?
I don't know.
Guys.
I don't know.
All right, now you've got the cop-out answer. You're just not saying anything.
I think the word was spooked.
Okay. Well, basically, I went to see Whitechapel because, like, duh. And I was, like, so excited. Like, I literally, like, love Phil Bozeman so much. I don't know if I, like, mentioned that enough, but, like, he's, like, right next to Alex Kohler for me. I fucking love Phil Bozeman so much. So I was, like, so excited to be there. And, oh, he's moving. He's on the move. And anyway, so, like, you know, obviously, like, I wanted to, like, I wanted to, like, I don't know, sometimes you can, like, meet them, and I really wanted to, like, let him know, like, how important he was to me and that my band is, like, actively covering Fairy Faye. Like, hopefully he would find that super cool, especially because Hymns and Dissonance was, like, in some way, like, supposed to be reminiscent of the Somatic Defilement and, like, This Is Exile, you know, which it was very good. But, anyway, so, like, yeah, so it was, like, the end of the show, like, everything was getting packed up, whatever, and then, like, he was walking, I was, like, right at, I don't know, have you ever been to the Starland Ballroom in Sayreville, or, like, no? No.
Starland Ballroom? No, I haven't.
Maybe him. Me.
Yeah,
no, I haven't.
Okay, yeah, so, like, they have, like, you know,
like
that's fair. Yeah, the bands that like exit off stage, like there's two sides. There's one where the sound is and the other is like where they keep their gear and stuff. I was by the side like where they keep their gear and like where they can walk off, whatever. And there's obviously like a barricade. It's not like a nuts barricade, but like there's a barricade. And I was like right by it. And like he was like, this is like, you know, they're done, like whatever, everybody's packing up and you know, he's getting his shit together and he starts walking off. And I was like trying to like say hi. But like obviously I was like, okay, like I know he's not gonna hear me. So like I need to keep this short and sweet. And then I was like, my band covered Fairy Faye yesterday. And he turns around and goes, and then the security is like pushing the barricade. And they were like, get out, bruh. Like they were like actively like pushing me out of the way, like with the barricade so that like we couldn't go near them. And I was like, Phil Bozeman, if you hear me right now, I'm so sorry about that. I was just trying to be a nice guy.
Yeah. Oh, look, that's fine. If look, I'll take this apology and I'll make a clip out of it and I'll tag Phil in it. We'll see what happens.
Oh,
yeah, but he's only gonna hear my apology.
Super mad, like just super
yeah. Can we at least like the whole point of me trying to talk to him in the first place was saying we covered Fairy Faye. If you're gonna post my apology, at least give the context of my band covering Fairy Faye.
You're good. You're good.
Do you need a clip of me? Like I have a clip of me like singing Fairy Faye, and then I have this girl just on the camera and I run up in her face. If you want that could be the context.
Shoot that my way. Will you?
What the hell? Why not? Yeah, there we go. That the edit.
Never gonna say no to more context and content. You know. Like,
yeah. Honestly, like, listen. He posted, or what was it? It was either the Whitechapel page or Phil's page. Posted like an edit that Kanan made. Of like, I don't know, it was like during like one of their songs, he had like interacted with one of the props, like, you know, the kind of like antler head, blah, blah, blah bones, you know, with the capes, like Phil like interacted with it and done like a funny bit, you know, and Kanan got a really good video of it and he made like an edit about it and they reposted it, which was cool.
Nice. That's awesome.
They didn't repost our Fairy Faye cover though.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Sorry. I'm like joking. I'm not actually like really mad whatsoever. I'm sure he's a very, very busy man.
And well, to be fair, also probably not the person who actually deals with their social media. So
no, by no means. I didn't think that. I just thought. I mean, I was just saying like that's cool, like that they posted that. You know, I don't expect them to like look at like they probably get tagged in 1 million billion gajillion things a day, especially while they were on tour. Like, yeah, like I'm not gonna be like, oh, this band hates their fans. Yeah, look at what Kanan said. He goes, they love me and hate Sophia.
I mean,
my stupid Chungus lie.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Oh, Sophia, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. This was a really awesome conversation. I really had a good time. So
thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm almost like so sad this is over. Like this was so fun. Oh my gosh.
It went fast. It went
fast.
And I gotta say it's cool right from the start. You know, like it's cool to see someone who's so positive and passionate about what she's doing. It's great to hear. You know, we didn't meet the other members of the band, and in the future, I'm sure we will.
Yeah, I'm sure.
From what I'm hearing, it seems very positive and super cool. Like a great collaboration together and stuff like that. So like, all I'm gonna say is that the mindset behind it, the positivity, the way you feel, the way you're all just being yourself. It's all amazing. And I'm also going to say you guys stand out, you know, like we're talking about the revival and stuff like that. First thing that Dom says was just like, you're going to like them. They stand out. He knows it's important for me. I keep saying that it's a great quality to stand out and to
sure.
be different. And you guys are doing that, you know, the vocals, everything you do. So I will be following what you guys doing. And
thank you.
We're going to be inviting you or members of the bands for sure in the future. So
hopefully, yeah, no, they're all a riot for sure. I love them all. My band, yeah, we definitely listen. We keep things light, but like we're all very passionate, and I think that's what's important. Like obviously, like you know, like if you take anything too seriously to the point where you're like torturing yourself, you're never gonna like enjoy it enough to want to like do more. So you know, like we keep it light. We hang out with each other. We enjoy the time we spend with each other, but we also, when we gotta get shit done, we get shit done, you know? And like, it's whatever dynamic that we have going on now, I think our personalities clash very well. You know what? My dad always jokes. He's been teaching like rock bands for years and years and years. He said, when it's all boys in a band, it's always a competition of who wants to solo for 60 seconds and why can't the other guitarist solo for 60 seconds, and it's a fight. When it's all girls in the band, it gets a little dramatic. But when there's girls and boys in the band, everybody's on their best behavior. And I think that is so exceptionally true. You know, not that like we're like not being our true selves, but I think we just get along really well.
Good balance is what I'm hearing.
That's funny. Where can the people find you? Yeah. What's next for Torn Open? What you got going on? All that. The floor is yours.
Okay. So I mean, I guess people can find Torn Open Deathcore. My personal account is Fake Messiah, except there's a 4 instead of an A. And then, we have Diablo too. Okay, you got the Instagram in there. Perfect. Mm-hmm. And then, so a 4 instead of an A, and then a 1 instead of an I, in homage to the Lamb of God song. I don't know. It's just been my username forever. If you want to get tattooed, Stab by Soph. What's next for Torn Open is we have a lot of shows coming up this summer, which I'm super stoked about. Like, we're going some new places. Like, you know, we went to Pennsylvania for the first time. We're going to Connecticut for the first time. We're, planning on writing a lot of new stuff, like collaborating with other bands, and also just like for ourselves, working on another EP. We're going to be recording a single pretty soon. I'm pretty sure maybe we'll put it out with an album. Maybe we'll just like release it. I don't know. I think we've been getting a lot of traction, so we kind of just want to keep that energy going. Like, I'm so grateful. We've genuinely been growing at like such an exponential rate. But I think in the near future, because everybody across Instagram and TikTok enjoyed our Nyan Cat breakdown, there may be Torn Open hoodies with Nyan Cat on the back, and then it just says in impact font, Deathcore with a red heart.
There we go.
It's cool. If I may, I'm kind of hoping in the future to hear a track with you and Frankie. I think that would be insane. So I'm just putting that out
Manifesting
there in the universe.
That would be so cool. That would be so cool.
That would be great. And you're both very different vocalists. So I feel like it would be cool. So I'm just
for sure. That would be awesome.
But yeah, we'll be following for sure. We're both fans of your music and what you do. And
thank you.
We'll it's the beginning. So we're going to be following.
Thank you so much.
Well, we'll be keeping in touch. Well,
yes, definitely, for sure.
And have a great rest of your night. Thank you again, and we'll
thank you.
We'll talk soon,
thank you. I'm gonna eat some dinner, I think now. I'm hungry. And if you guys ever want offers open, come out to New Jersey, and I will give you 1 million billion deathcore tattoos.
There we go.
Offers open. Offers open. They're free right now because I'm in a Prince. Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Perfect.
There we go. All right. Well, I will see you guys. Thank you so much for having me on the show. And I'd want to say thank you to everybody who's still in the chat for like participating and commenting. That was so fun to see. And this was wonderful. Hopefully, we'll be in touch, and whether it's a show or something, we could do something like this again soon.
Absolutely. We'll do.
Sure,
great.
For sure.
Sounds good.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. I'll see you guys. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
If you made it to the end of this episode, thank you for watching. And hey, while you're here, hit that subscribe or follow button and a review. If you're watching or listening on a podcast platform, it would mean the world and it helps out more than you know. A big thank you as well to all of our supporters over on Patreon and on Twitch. New episodes every week, links to our Patreon, Discord, and socials in the description. We'll see you soon. We're out.